Hello, my name is Leo, and welcome to another reading of the Elder Scrolls. Today, The War of Betony by Vulper Newgate. Important to note that there are two books in this game by the name of The War of Betony. Today we'll be reading the book by Vulper Newgate. Let us begin. How long is this book? Oh, it's a long one. Okay, here we go. The history of the Iliac Bay, if told in its entirety, would horrify readers more than the most gruesome legend of the Underking. In comparison to the wars of the First and Second Era, our most recent appeal to arms, the War of Betony, pales. You mean? Oh, you mean the War of Betony's not that scary. The old wars are much worse. The siege of Ausonium lasted from First Era 950 until First Era 980. Wow, that's 30 years without a pause. 1,000 years later, the Thracian Plague, coupled with the War of Righteousness, slayed over half the Betony. Damn it. Right. Goddamn game fucked up the word warping. So it's actually not. Hang on. Just so happens that I had the book on my phone, so I'm gonna read that bit that's cut off. Where is it? Okay. 1,000 years later, the peasants there, come with the War of Righteousness, slayed over half the population of the Iliac Bay. And yet, the War of Betony fascinates us, and not just because of its immediacy. Ironically, okay, now I don't need my phone anymore. Ironically, Lord Mogriff of Betony was seeking peace when he asked for Daggerfall's protection on the Isle of Betony. The island had long been independent, but as the piracy in the bay increased, Mogriff truly realized Betony's vulnerability. King Lysandrius agreed to be Betony's liege, on advice of many. That's right. On advice of many, including his archpriest of Kinnereth, Lord Vanek. While Betony is a prosperous fishing island and well placed strategically, the vassalage of Betony was primarily an act of charity. Lysandrius knew that if someone did not help Betony, it would fall to the pirates, if not someone worse. Unfortunately, King Cameron of Sentinel did not agree, citing a 1,000-year-old contract, obliquely, if not legally written, to suggest that Betony was a traditional holding of the Kingdom of Sentinel. Cameron declared war, the majority of his advisors being warlords in a traditionally bellicose country, supported their king in this. The chief counselor, a woman called the Oracle, foresaw death and defeat in the war, but her wisdom was stifled and she was banished from court. Cameron should have listened to her. At this point, if Lysandrius is doing this out of charity to help Betony out, and Sentinel's like, hey, that's ours. Hey, don't touch our stuff. Wouldn't Leo just, okay, that's cool. It's yours. But can you help them out? Because they're kind of having a rough time. If you're not, well then I'll help them out. What do you want to do? Anyway. Gotta have war, you know. A few skirmishes of the War of Betony went to Sentinel. But the major battles were all won by Daggerfall. King Lysandrius, his heir Prince Gothred, and the general of the army, Lord Bidwell, were fine leaders and warriors as well. And the Battle of the Bluffs and the Siege of Craghold both went to Daggerfall. The war might have been won with one more victory, but for an unusual domestic incident in King Lysandrius' court. The king's mother, the oh god, how do you pronounce that? It's the Dark Elf, right? Dwargana. Queen Nofalgar, hey, I know that name, had been uneasy about the war since its beginning, but she now began to have visions of cataclysm. She saw the death of her beloved son. So, yeah, Nofalgar, before we go on to the next page, Nofalgar was that woman that we saw up at Stegungund, whatever the fuck that place was, that crazy old woman that had all the stupid people looking for her. So she's King Lysandrius' mother. So she actually had visions of her son's death. Which, guess what? That happened. Oh god, what else did she have visions of? Maybe this is actually related to the plot of the game. We should pay attention. Okay, so she began to have visions of cataclysm. She saw the death of her beloved son, should the war continue. That is, what is that word? Ebudient? That's not a word. By his success, King Lysandrius refused to listen to her fears until Nofalgar left court. Lysandrius then realized how certain she was about his impending death. He began to actively negotiate a peace treaty with Sentinel, using the neutral lordship of Radkeep as facilitator. The Treaty of the Treaty of Radkeep was never to be. King Cameron was initially civil, as the losing side of a war is often civil. But when he realized that the proposed treaty would have included a formal declaration that the kingdoms of Sentinel and Daggerfall would share Betony, he flew into a rage. Would it be better if Daggerfall just took the whole thing? With no thought for the protocol of attacking a neutral, peaceable lordship, Cameron ordered his army to riot through Radkeep. Oh, Radkeep is a place, I guess. I thought it was a person. First the halls of the palace, and then the streets of the capital ran red with blood. Ooh. It was only with the support of the Daggerfall army that the chaos was brought under relative control. The Sentinel army fled to Yorthboroland, and the Daggerfall army chased them as far as the Ravenian forest before making camp. 1 week later, after each had a chance to send for reinforcements and plan their strategies, the armies met in the field that separated them, the flowering meadowland called Craigian Field. In the heat of the clash, an unnatural fog spread over the field, blinding all combatants. When the mist finally lifted, King Lysandrius' body was found, his throat pierced by an unmarked arrow. Daggerfall did not waste any time in mourning. Young Prince Gothred, who had shown great bravery in battle and was very popular among the troops, was crowned King of Daggerfall, just behind the battle lines, and he ordered the army onward. Perhaps it was the sight of the brave young warrior turned king appearing on the battlefield in full regalia that inspired the Daggerfall army. Perhaps the battle would have turned regardless. Sentinel began to panic. King Gothred met King Cameron before the Red Guards had retreated, and the two monarchs fought. Both were excellent warriors, but Gothred was a more skillful swordsman, and Cameron fell that day. Lord Ormsby of Sentinel formally surrendered to Daggerfall, giving up all rights to Betony officially. He later committed suicide on the ship back to Sentinel. Jeez. One more. Okay, last page. Well, pretty much last page. Peace was a difficult process for the cities and towns on both sides of the Irian Bay. As part of the formal peace treaty, King Gothred asked for the hand of Princess Ibuki, who's that chick that we're doing a quest for, only daughter of the late King Cameron, and the Queen Regent The request was intended to restore friendship between the kingdoms, and it was partially successful, though many of the royal court of Sentinel viewed the princess as more of a prisoner of war than a bond to Daggerfall. The only surviving member of the ruling family of Radkeep was a sickly infant, so the councils of state appealed to Lord Albrian Fife, a cousin of Lord Graddock, to rule the lordship in Regency. Lord Fife accepted, and his strong, almost dictatorial style was just what Radkeep needed to restore order after the bloody Treaty of Radkeep. His subjects were grateful that when the infant heir died, they not only elevated his wife Dorania and him from regents to rulers, they agreed to rename the lordship in his honor. White Radkeep became Anticlair, named after his ancestral home. Anticlair, I know that name. We went there before. Is that in Daggerfall? I guess. The horrors of the War of Betony still live on, even in Anticlair. Whether Daggerfall and Sentinel will be able to use the marriage of King Gothred and Princess Ibuki as a symbol of peace rather than discord is something that only the future can show. 14 Sun's Dawn 3rd Era 404. When is Daggerfall set? What year does Daggerfall start? Because this could be Sun's Dawn as in like the end of last year. The Elder Scrolls. I don't know if I'll be able to find it on my phone. But yeah, okay. So that was God damn it, go back. That was the War of Betony by Vulper and Newgate. Now there is another War of Betony actually that I actually have. Wait, where is it? Where the fuck is it? I did have it. Shit. It's fine, I'll find it later. There's another book entitled The War of Betony by another guy, and I think we might read that next. In fact, depending on how many things we find, or I might even read it tomorrow. But let me just see if I can find that wiki page that I really like to use because it's quite useful. Shit, can't find it. Well, while I'm looking for that, hang on, is that it? No. What's it called? You know what? I bet you if you search for unofficial, I think it starts with unofficial. So go, oh, damn it. Phone, don't be a dick. A dick phone. Unofficial. Just say that. And that should show it. There it is. UESP.net is a great resource for information on the Elder Scrolls. And it should tell me the year that Elder Scrolls starts in. What is that? Elder Scrolls Online, sure. Yeah, we're gonna play that game? I don't know. Probably not. It's not on current gen, is it? I think by current gen you mean your current gen, which is PS3. Oh yeah, the game is set in Third Era 405. So this book was written like 3 months ago. Wow, actually more like 5 months ago at this point. Yeah, I think the original Elder Scrolls Online was on PS3 and 360, but the new one, the unlimited version, which is the one you want, because I don't want to pay for online, is I think it's current gen only, so PS4, so you can't play it. Yeah, that's fine. Anyway, we did find one place on our journey, so we are in Minza, which is a town of a decent amount of people. There's quite a lot of shops here, so I did some shopping, and that's where I found this book actually, which is where I had the idea of doing both books at the same time. So if nothing happens tomorrow, I will probably be reading the second chapter of the War of Betony. Not the second chapter, it's a different book, just with the same name. Different author. So you can see this, we're definitely in, this is Redguard territory. You can see that actually people are Redguards. Unlike in Arena where they all were pretty much the same. Like I'm pretty sure no matter where you went, even if you went down to friggin' what's her face? Argonian land. Everyone were just they were just people. There was no such thing as an Argonian. But you can see the buildings are kind of different too. There's a lot of like foliage, like vines and shit all over the place. It's interesting. But anyway, that's all I really wanted to do here. So when we come back, we will perhaps be reading a new book, or we might just be showing off some places on the way. Where actually am I now on the map? Oh, okay, I'm here. I'm in oh, there's a river there. Yeah, cool. So we're almost at the Daggerfall Mountains. Our destination is here, Skullbarrow. So we got a ways to go. Alright, but anyway, oh, don't do it. I will see you tomorrow. So yeah, that has been another reading of the Elder Scrolls. For now, my name is Leon. I'll see you next time.